Chapter 13 talked about the delivery of your speech, nonverbal communication use. I found it very interesting to read this, that your voice and your body language, rather than using words. I think that that's important if you are trying to say something important, or if you're trying to convey that somebody said something and was hateful, to use a strong tone or dictative tone, I guess you'd say. When I was in court reporting school, the tone of voice was very important to what the witness or the lawyers were actually trying to convey or try to get their point across, either to the jury or in a deposition that was actually going to be presented in a case. It calls for people to be, I guess it's what I'm trying to say is it's who people really are. If you are saying something and you're upset about something and you're using a tone of voice that is identifying yourself as upset, then that's true and that's honest. So that helps people understand this is exactly how I felt and this is what point I'm trying to get across. There are 4 different methods of delivery. Reading verbatim from a transcript, reading some memorized text, speaking impromptu, and the speaker's voice. The volume and the pitch and the rate, which is the speed that you talk. I think if you're, when I think of speed, I think of people being very nervous and they're trying to get their speech over with. That's kind of what I think of rate. Or if you're just trying to get a point across of something that was rushed or anything like that. Pauses, I think, are very important as well. That can give the audience the idea to kind of sit back and think about what the speaker had just said. If it's something important and it's something that the speaker is actually trying to really impact on the audience, I think that is a very important part of delivery, to kind of give them, say, hey, this was important, what I just said. So can you take just 1 second and just ponder on what I just said and maybe write it down, later research it, because if it was important to the speaker, then the speaker wants the audience to understand what they're trying to say as well. Articulation was important. Being in court reporting school, that was actually something that we had to understand. But the thing about court reporting and listening to a deposition or in a testimony of someone in a case, it's different. Punctuating verbatim, writing verbatim on your steno machine is different. They had an example in the book. It says "let me" or "let me" because people talk that way. So we had to actually type exactly what they said. But in a legal document, do I put "let me" or "let me"? So I think that it'll kind of give somebody an idea of who the person is. When you say "let me," I mean, that's normal talk, right? So if you say "let me," that helps them understand "let me" instead of "let me," because if you say that, then people are like, I mean, what did they just say? Some people can say, oh, it means "let me," and then some people, like my mom's generation, are gonna be like, can somebody tell me what they just said? Because I'm not really quite sure. So I found that to be very interesting. Chapter 13, I thought was very enlightening for me to understand a good delivery of a speech. So I think that's really helped me.